Okay, now I was about to start painting my deck here, and I noticed that the back side of the life raft, there's bare plastic there. Now when I had sprayed this life raft, and all of them for that matter, I had thought that the entire raft was going to be up against a bulkhead, like right here for instance. I didn't realize it was going to be, showing from the back. So I think what we're going to have to do is just very carefully just try and put a little bit of this number 77, which is going to be the same color as what we had sprayed the front here with. I better have another sip of coffee. Now this paint is thinned out, so it's not going on quite as well as it probably would if it hadn't been thinned out. Okay, I don't think I got it on the superstructure there, or the bulkhead as bad as I might have. I'm not going to do a second coat, maybe. We'll see how that looks once it's dry. Now, it might have been a good idea to have rinsed my brush out, because I spent 2 or 3 minutes recomposing here for the other side, and it may have, maybe I got too much on there. You know what? I need my stronger glasses here. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, we'll check it after it dries. In the meantime, let's see if we can do something on the deck. Okay, my plan is to go all the way around as close as I can to the splinter rail here with my little brush, and then I'll fill in later with the other brush. I wonder if these hatches I should maybe paint a different color. If I think of it, I will. Okay, so here we go. I guess I'll start here. Now, if I do touch the edge, I would sooner be touching getting the wrong paint on the splinter rail than getting the splinter rail's color on the deck, because we're going to sort of be looking down on it. This is probably going to take 2 coats. You know, I think I should use the thicker paint. This is almost too thinned out. You know, I wonder if I was to use some of the thicker paint and put a drop or two of the paint retarder in it. I was noticing in the video yesterday that I've got it sitting up there on my shelf and I'm not really using it. See, my light's not quite right here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I think you get the idea. About an hour has passed here, maybe a little more. I would think this is about as dry as it's going to get. Well, I know that overnight it'd be a little drier, a little bit more cured, you might say. However, I'm going to give it a second coat, because I'm not happy with the way this looks. Even on the back of the life raft, I think I could probably do a better job. On the other hand, when it's a little bit blotchy, it does have sort of a, you might say, a weathering effect. But there's places there where I'm sort of seeing, if I look carefully. Now, mind you, once the detailed stuff is on there, I'm not going to maybe notice it, but I'm just going to take out an extra hour here and put another coat on. While we're waiting for our second coat to dry here, it still looks a little bit blotchy to me, even though it seems to be dry. We'll just give it a little bit more time. And about these wheels here now, remember we were talking about painting them yellow. And Tony was mentioning how yellow is very hard to get to cover anything. And he was suggesting maybe paint the wheels white first, before we do the yellow. Excuse me, I had heard something about that before. Now this one here, I don't know, maybe you can't see it zoomed back the way we are, but you will when we get the macro lens on. It looks like the paint has sort of plugged up the detail where the spokes are on the wheel, but that's not paint, that's CA glue. Yeah, I guess I was a little bit too exuberant with my glue there or something, or maybe when I was trying to get the wheel on, it was kind of filling up with CA, and CA does not evaporate, it just cures. This one here, of course, is okay. Now I'm thinking that maybe, and because I don't want these things to sort of like glow in the dark, I want them to just be a little bit yellow. So maybe I will be satisfied with the fact that just one little coat of yellow will sort of, you know, not stick out, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And then there's the seats that go on the directors. No, I don't think I should do them in yellow. I think I'll do them in a lighter gray. Or maybe a darker gray, because it's a light gray already. Well, we'll see when we get to it. In the meantime, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to try a little bit of the, just a drop of the paint retarder and maybe 2 or 3 drops of the yellow here, and I don't know if that's going to aid in brushing or not. I know that I am going to have to be really careful not to fill up the rest of the spokes. Now this paint retarder, I smelled it a few minutes ago, and it smells like the sort of thing that could possibly evaporate fairly quickly. So I'm going to do 2 drops. All right, 3. Maybe if I was to hold that at a bit of an angle, it wouldn't have such a large area. Don't know if this is a good idea or not. Alright, now I want to put my macro lens on. Gotta hold this down somehow. Okay, does yellow and pink go good together? Okay, if I get yellow on your pointing device, Mr. T, I apologize. All right, what do you think? Okay, now try and get it on there. Try and just poke it through. I don't know if this is going to evaporate or if the, maybe this was not a good idea. Maybe I should have listened to Tony and painted him white first. Okay, that is just a delicate shade of yellow. That's kind of what I had in mind. Just so they, like I say, so they're not just sort of flashing on and off like a street light or something. Okay, let's see what happens when that dries there. I think that's going to be alright. I'm just going to readjust and do the one on the side here. Now you can see here where it appears to be the spokes are sort of filled in right there from the CA glue anyway. Trying a different tactic. Instead of flooding it on and then trying to get it out afterwards, I'm just very delicately putting it on the spokes right now. If I just go around the outside a little bit without touching the arm that's supporting everything. Okay, I think I did a better job that time. Now, I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to go ahead and do the other floodlights just like that off camera. Now, I was going to try and cover up the photo etch that I'd accidentally scratched the paint off of yesterday when we were doing this, like right here and on the corners, and I was noticing we've got this railing here that I bent down. I remember seeing that yesterday. So let's just very carefully here with Mr. T's poking device, see if I can just bring that up just a little bit. Okay, that's somewhat better. This paint may have been a mistake. I maybe should have used a Stynel Res, because this Tamiya gray is coming off so easy, whereas if you remember when we did the Bismarck with the basically the same shade, only in the Stynel Res, it didn't seem to come off near as bad. Okay, now let's just kind of touch it up a little bit here. I know it might look like it's glossy and everything, and actually it is because it's wet. But when this flat paint dries out, it should be okay. Now, I don't know if I dare try this or not. You'll notice right here where I'm pointing on the side of the bulkhead where the CA glue ran down a little bit. Now here's my thought on this. I don't know if I'm steady enough to do this. If I can just drag my brush along the bottom of the rail, just a little bit more on there. And then what I can do is I can take the number 22 and come up from the bottom. Okay, now also right here, do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to flip this thing over and do the railing on the other side now. Now this side wasn't so bad. I've already gone all over it, and there was very few places where there was what you might call photo etch glinting through, at least from the angle I was looking at. I've gone along the bottom rail, but you can see here where the CA glue is on the number 22 on the bulkhead. I don't think there's anything much more I can do here. There is discoloration up here along this post where the CA glue has gotten onto the 22 here. Got to be careful not to touch it. I better quit while I'm ahead here, and then I'm going to get the number 22. Maybe I'll just leave this laying right exactly where it is here. I'll get some number 22 and see if I can just get rid of that. Not that anybody's going to see it anyway, probably, but being as I said, I'd do it. Okay, now the trick is to just come up to the rail, but don't touch it. Now what's going to happen is, because there's going to be a difference in texture from the airbrush to the paintbrush, it could be that my repair is going to just look worse than before. I hope not. Now, this is almost out of your field of view here. Maybe I'll bring it down just a little. Okay, there's this where the CA had sort of wicked its way up into the side there. I'm hoping that when this dries and flattens out, it's going to sort of blend in. Okay, let's just leave that and see what happens. What I've got going here now is the dark gray, the number 77, and I do believe that once it dries, it's going to contrast with the light gray, the number 66. Got to turn it a little bit more here. Okay, I realize that you can't see that one seat too good there, but don't feel bad, I can't either. Okay, got that one. Now, I know I'm kind of flooding it on here, but that's alright. I think once it dries out, it'll be alright. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead now and do the other two directors the same way. We are back to the place where I was yesterday when I said I think we can put the parts on our module now. And then suddenly realized, oh no, we got painting to do. I do believe I've got all the painting done that I want to do. So, yeah, we were going to put this piece on right here. Oh, I didn't paint the little hatches. I was going to paint those a different color. Okay. You'll forgive me if I don't put the super macro on. Besides, the further away you are, the better my paint job looks. Okay, now just try and highlight the tops of it here. Okay, this 66 should contrast with the 77. No, I don't want to get it so thick that it's gonna run down. Just want to rely on the fact that it will sort of shrink wrap itself. Okay, I know it appears to be pooled on there, but okay, now the other one. But when that dries, it should shrink around all the details. Just the top of that hinge there. Okay. Alright, let's not try to improve on it. Now, I realize that you're a long ways back, and you're used to being able to see details right close up. We will take a close look at this later, if we have time today. Okay, that's got to go on there. Like that. Okay. Now, I'm not going to glue these braces that come down, these 4 braces, because they seem to fit nice and flat on the deck. If I try to glue them, oh, I'm noticing photo edge glinting there. Well, no, that's from underneath. We're not going to see that. Okay. Let's just put just a little bit along the edge there. And hopefully when I stick this on, it's going to just sort of wick its way down. I'm pretty sure it will. Okay, now this has to be square. I'm looking straight down on it. Alright, I do believe that's going to adhere pretty good. Now, this one almost comes out on the hatch there, but it just misses it. I wonder if it should go just a bit to the clockwise position here. Okay, I do believe that's going to be alright. Okay, now what we need is one of the directors. Okay, let's try and get it off here without breaking it. Okay, now it has to go on the front here. Let's get a better grab. Be careful not to break any of the seats off. Okay, it goes something like this. Yeah, I think that's going to fit okay. Alright, we're going to do the same thing here. Very carefully. I'm using Tony's tweezers so I don't scratch it. Come on. Okay. Don't play with it. Now, on the over here there's supposed to be searchlights. Okay, I only need 2 and I've got 6. That means we're going to be putting 4 more on somewhere else. Now, you'll notice we painted these yellow, right? And I was thinking afterwards that if I had have just left them as photo etch, the photo etch already is kind of yellow. Now, is this going to fit, or did I mess that peg up when I used the alligator clip on it? Just make sure it's going to fit okay. Yeah, it'll probably be alright. Let's just try and enlarge this hole without wicking it onto the deck. Now, how do we want these? Kind of looking out at the side like this? Or should they be like this, 90 degrees to the ship? Let's put them this way. Okay, now the other one the same way. Guess it doesn't matter which one we grab. I didn't do a dry run, but I think it should fit. Maybe I could use my fingers very carefully here. Well, we can fix these later. Now, what else? The davits. Now, I do believe they are supposed to face out. Let me just check the manual. Well, that's kind of odd. Okay, if I position this the same way as the manual is, it appears that they're facing this way, but that doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm looking at the manual wrong. Okay, it seems to me that they would be best like this. Okay. I would think this, I would think that the idea is they are supposed to lift something from the deck here up and then swing in. And I don't want to put too much on here. It's going to just dissolve away. Oops, I almost spilt my extra thin. I did that about a year ago when we were doing the Bismarck. I spilt it. Not this one, but the other one. That's why I bought this one. The other one was, I lost about half of it to I think it was the brown cloth. And we don't want to lose anything to the green cloth. I've already got a little black mark on here. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, now one more davit and then we're done. And now this one here, I think it should be turned clockwise just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on these for a few minutes while the extra thin evaporates. So, because once they harden, they'll break off if you try to straighten them. So, do we have everything on there now? I think so. I think we got everything on. Okay, we'll have a close look in a minute here, if we have time, that is. It's getting on. We spent a lot of time doing this. I think we are as done here as we can get. I'm going to find a little box to put this thing in because I'm not sure when I want to use it next. Although I do believe when we flip the page, which we'll be doing tomorrow, they say put this thing down on the main deck, but I don't know if I want to, if I don't have to. Just have to check the manual and just see, you know, if I can get away with leaving it off for a while, because the longer I leave it off, the less chance there is of damaging something like this little gun sight, or these little delicate davits, or breaking one of these off, or you know how it goes. You notice that there's a life raft on here, and you would have thought that there should have been one on the other side, but there isn't. There's a porthole there. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. And these yellow wheels, yeah, they look pretty good, I think. Yeah, that was a good suggestion. Okay. Thanks for watching. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.